It's very important for me to be here today for the simple fact that I lost my grandmother last week, and she was an advocate for education, and she was involved very heavily in the Board of Education, and I think she was my first glimpse of what a powerful woman really is and what she really does, and being brave and not afraid to do something different and sort of get out there and push an agenda that is really important. And I think for myself, I am an advocate of women getting out there in the construction business and having a vehicle for you to become independent and have those opportunities and push, even when they're telling you that that's not what you're supposed to be doing. So I remember when I first came down to the World Trade Center, that was my first job ever as a full-fledged iron worker. And my mentor, Norman Price, he felt that I had the raw welding talent to come down here and really kind of, make my mark. And I came, and I remember the first day on the job site, I actually cried. I actually cried because it was rough. It was rough. It's extremely competitive, especially as far as like welding is concerned. No two welds are alike. The steel was extremely thick. No two fit-ups are alike. It's so challenging. Everything had to be perfect and spot on. And being somebody who just came out of sort of a laboratory situation, sort of, a setup made, you have a piece of steel, it's perfect, and you can weld it, and then you pass the test. That is not what it was down here. Now, this kind of separates the women from the girls. That's what I'm gonna say, okay? So, I feel very fortunate to have been, part of this. I worked on, I think Tower 1 was the first one. I worked on the cocoon, the scaffolding system that keeps things from falling out and down on people. We had to jump it and move it and put the netting. And I worked on Tower 2. That was great. I did some splice columns, and there were some columns that took like weeks to weld. They were huge. I've never seen. I think when I came down here, I was like, I will never ever see anything like this again in my life. And I think that was the magnitude. I could really understand how important a piece that I was playing in this. Then I went down to the hub. And the hub, wow, the hub. This was the designs, the ribs. It was magnificent. And it was so hard because I was working the night shift in the middle of the summer. At like 12 o'clock at night, it was 95 degrees. And we had to preheat the steel to 300 degrees. And as well, while you're welding, it gets up to like 1,500 to 2,000 degrees heat as well. So it was very challenging. It was very hot. It was grueling. It was 7 days a week, 10-hour days. I mean, you had to have fight in you to work in this job. And as rough as it was, I was not going to quit. They wanted me to every time. They looked for me to every time, but I was stubborn about it, and I just kept on going. And I'm so glad that I did, because I will forever be able to walk through here and see something that I've done. I will always be able to hold my head up high when it comes to my family and my child, my cousins. I have females. I have nothing but females in my family, and they look at me and they are in awe. And I don't really feel like I don't feel like I deserve it, but in the same vein, I know how important that is. And so I just want to say thank you. I want to thank you for allowing me to be here tonight, and that's about it. Thank you.